Greetings, it's Eric Bakker, the Naturopath. We're back again with more videos. Thanks you so much for coming back to my channel. I really appreciate it. I've made quite a few videos to this point regarding omega-3, fish oils, omega-3 supplementation. So please take your time to have a look at all the different omega-3 videos. Many people are asking questions in the comment section, but are not even looking at the videos. They're just asking questions, and the video is actually made regarding that question. So a little bit of looking on your part will help me a lot. Otherwise I've got to keep on making more and more and more of the same videos. So is it good to take omega-3 dietary supplement before bedtime? So there are three core issues here that we're going to talk about. This is a good video. So a lot of people look at my videos, but many don't, because they think they're too simplistic and too basic. But when you think carefully about what I'm going to say, this is far from simplistic. I think people want things on a platter today. They don't really want to read or study anything anymore. So there's going to be an awful lot of platters out there. Anyway, is it good to take omega-3? Well, in the first issue, for many people, it may be an issue, it may not be an issue in terms of the digestive system. Lots of people have tummy problems at night, particularly older people, sort of my age plus. So this could be a stomach problem, a pancreas problem, a small bowel problem. They may have a lot of bloating, burping, reflux, all sorts of issues at night. So this could be related to their diet, what they're eating. This could be related to medication they're taking. But for those people, omega-3 supplements may not be good taken before bed. Taken maybe with breakfast or lunch, it could be a whole new ball game. But taking supplements on an empty stomach before bed for some people can be really problematic. But if it's not for you, listen on, because it gets better. The second case arises if you've got any kind of inflammation. Let me just read from my cheat sheets here, because these is my... You'll find all this information, by the way, on Candida.com. You should find this under the frequently asked questions of the omega-3 supplement. There should be like 150 odd FAQs there. So the second issue arises if you've got inflammation, like pain. Okay, let me read this out. If you have any kind of pain, like arthritis, spondylitis, polymyalgia rheumatica, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, any kind of pain in the body, then you may be one of those who wakes up in pain with a lot of morning stiffness. Read morning inflammation, because pain basically is inflammation. I've known many patients over the years who were taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs every single day. So these are drugs like aspirin, paracetamol, ibuprofen, drugs like that. So there are a lot of side effects from these medications when you take them daily for long term. And that can be stomach ulceration, it could be all sorts of gut issues, reflux, constipation, heartburn. Studies have found that non-steroidal drugs often take longer to work than many think, and are best taken up to 8 hours before the peak pain is experienced. So if you think about the action of the non-steroidal drugs and omega-3, they're actually quite similar in the body to what they do, right? Because they both work on a similar pathway. So the essential fatty acids EPA and DPA work on a similar biochemical pathway than, say, for example, ibuprofen will work. They both inhibit the production of pro-inflammatory eicosanoids. So these are basically chemicals that your immune system makes to ramp inflammation up, to push people into a healing response. But that can be pain, swelling, redness, all that kind of stuff. So these are the COX pathways, COX pathways. And these include, weird names like leukotrienes and thromboxanes. So if we got an omega-3 supplement and we got a bottle of ibuprofen, they work very similar, okay, on a similar pathway. But the great thing about the fish oil is you're not going to get the side effects, okay? But if you've got a very sick stomach or ulcerated stomach, it could happen. A bit of burping, that's all. So the third interesting fact, which many people don't know, is omega-3 actually acts like a sleep aid for a lot of people. So I've looked at many studies involving teenagers and children and adults, and I found an interesting study that was published in 2014. It involved 362 kids, and they were giving these kids basically one group of placebo and then one group the omega-3. In this study, sleep problems were consistently found in the children who had the lowest levels of the essential fatty acid DHA in their blood, This study remarkably found that in the group of children who consistently took omega-3 were sleeping an hour more per night, plus 1 hour or more per night, in comparison to the children who were taking a placebo. Other studies have found that regular omega-3 supplementation can boost melatonin levels, which is the sleep hormone. So when melatonin levels are good, then you're going to sleep deeper and longer. Okay. So what else do I have to say about this? Yeah, but if you're on medication, you're probably best to talk with your medical doctor, you know, if omega-3 is okay for you, which it should be in most all cases. But many people get scared of things like omega-3, you know, and of course, you know, what doctors are down on, they're not up on, you know. So if they don't know something, then they're going to slam it and saying, well, you're going to die if you take it. So just be careful what kind of advice you do take. But suffice to say, omega-3, let's just wrap it up. If you've got a bad gut problem, it may not be the best take it at night because it could give you a bit of reflux, okay? But it'd have to be a pretty bad gut problem. The second one is if you've got inflammation or pain in the body, take omega-3 before you go to bed at night. Take 1 capsule, you know, per night for a week, see how you go. Next week you can try 2 capsules. This is if you've got bad arthritis. And the third one is if you've got a child with a sleeping problem, try and give them a small DHA capsule before bed, say 500 milligrams. All right? Thanks for tuning in.